America spent decades benefiting from a critical industrial advantage that helped build everything from pickup trucks and SUVs to fighter jets and electric vehicles. But that advantage may be facing a challenge few people are paying attention to. Europe is quietly moving to secure more of Canada's low-carbon aluminum, and the consequences could reach far beyond commodity markets. Future vehicle costs, manufacturing competitiveness, and supply chain security could all be affected. Your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Today, we're counting down 5 developments showing why Canada's aluminum is becoming an increasingly strategic global resource. Number 5. Trade barriers redirect Canada's aluminum flow. For decades, Canada supplied vast amounts of aluminum to the United States, supporting the production of pickup trucks, aircraft, military equipment, and countless consumer products through a deeply integrated North American supply chain. But changing trade policies and tariffs have encouraged Canadian producers to diversify beyond their traditional U.S. customer base. Europe has quickly emerged as a major alternative, with growing demand driven by its ongoing aluminum supply deficit. Canadian shipments to Europe have risen significantly, transforming the region from a secondary market into a strategic growth opportunity. While the United States remains Canada's largest aluminum customer, American manufacturers now face increasing competition from European buyers. For Canada, this creates greater flexibility and bargaining power. For Europe, it improves supply security. And for industries like automotive and aerospace manufacturing, it signals a more competitive future for access to Canadian aluminum. But increased demand alone doesn't explain Europe's growing interest. The real attraction lies in something Canada can offer that many competitors cannot. Number 4. Europe's race for Canada's low-carbon aluminum. Europe is not just seeking more aluminum, it is increasingly prioritizing cleaner aluminum. This gives Canada a major advantage because much of its aluminum production, especially in Quebec, is powered by hydroelectricity, resulting in one of the lowest carbon footprints among major global producers. That distinction is becoming increasingly valuable as European automakers, aerospace firms, renewable energy companies, and manufacturers face growing pressure to reduce emissions throughout their supply chains. For many businesses, low-carbon aluminum has evolved from a sustainability goal into a strategic requirement. Canada also offers benefits beyond environmental performance, including large-scale production, political stability, and reliable infrastructure. As a result, European buyers are increasingly viewing Canadian aluminum as a strategic resource rather than a simple commodity. This growing demand is being reinforced by broader European industrial and climate policies focused on securing cleaner materials for long-term economic competitiveness. And once governments begin building long-term industrial strategies around cleaner materials, demand starts expanding far beyond today's market conditions. Number 3. Europe's manufacturing future runs on aluminum. Europe's demand for Canadian aluminum is driven by long-term industrial strategy rather than temporary trade disputes. Governments and manufacturers across the continent are investing heavily in electric vehicles, battery production, renewable energy, defense systems, rail networks, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing, all industries that require significant amounts of aluminum. For the automotive sector, aluminum is especially important because it helps reduce vehicle weight, improve efficiency, and extend EV driving range through components such as battery enclosures, suspension systems, and crash structures. Demand is also growing from wind energy, power infrastructure, aircraft manufacturing, and defense production. As Europe strengthens environmental regulations and focuses on lowering emissions throughout supply chains, Canada's hydro-powered, low-carbon aluminum becomes increasingly attractive. European manufacturers view it not simply as a commodity, but as a strategic resource essential for maintaining industrial competitiveness and supporting long-term economic growth. But aluminum itself is only one part of a much larger shift that is reshaping Canada's economic relationship with Europe. Number 2. Aluminum is only one piece of a growing Canada-Europe alliance. The aluminum story reflects a much broader shift in Canada-Europe economic relations. Following energy disruptions, geopolitical tensions, and supply chain concerns, Europe has been actively diversifying its sources of critical resources. At the same time, Canada has been expanding beyond its traditional US-focused export strategy. This trend is visible across multiple sectors, including LNG, critical minerals, uranium, hydrogen, potash, and other strategic resources. Europe is increasingly seeking reliable democratic partners that can support industrial resilience and long-term growth, while Canada offers abundant natural resources, political stability, clean energy, and strong infrastructure. Aluminum fits naturally into this partnership because it is essential for automotive manufacturing, aerospace, defense, infrastructure, packaging, and electrification technologies. Together, these developments highlight a growing economic relationship that extends well beyond aluminum and could shape future industrial competitiveness on both sides of the Atlantic. Before we reveal the #1 development, take a moment to subscribe to Highway Herald and turn on notifications. If you enjoy our coverage of automotive manufacturing, global trade, supply chains, and the industries shaping tomorrow's vehicles, your support helps us continue bringing you in-depth analysis just like this. Because the biggest consequence of this aluminum shift may not be felt in commodity markets at all. It could eventually show up in the vehicles we drive. #1, why Europe's aluminum hunt matters for future vehicles. This story matters because modern vehicles rely heavily on aluminum to reduce weight, improve fuel efficiency, enhance crash safety, boost towing capability, and extend EV driving range. From pickup trucks and SUVs to luxury cars and electric vehicles, aluminum has become a critical automotive material. As Europe's demand for Canadian aluminum grows, competition for supply could intensify. European buyers are increasingly competing for Canadian production, potentially creating a more competitive sourcing environment for North American manufacturers. At the same time, Canada is expanding production capacity and investing in cleaner technologies, including projects in Quebec and innovations such as ELYSIS, which aims to reduce emissions from aluminum smelting. These investments strengthen Canada's position as a preferred supplier of low-carbon aluminum. For automakers, the result could influence supply chain strategies, production planning, EV development, and future manufacturing costs. And that is why this story ultimately extends far beyond the metals industry. It reaches all the way to future vehicle pricing, manufacturing decisions, and consumer choice. Verdict: the race for Canada's aluminum is just beginning. The biggest takeaway is not that Europe is replacing the United States. North America's manufacturing relationship remains deeply integrated, and the United States continues to be Canada's largest aluminum customer. What is changing is the competitive landscape. Europe is becoming a more significant buyer of Canadian low-carbon aluminum, while simultaneously strengthening broader partnerships involving energy, critical minerals, and strategic resources. Canada is diversifying its export opportunities, giving producers greater flexibility than they have enjoyed in decades. For manufacturers, that means planning for a future where access to premium low-carbon aluminum may become increasingly competitive. For automakers, it could influence supply chains, investment decisions, and production costs. And for consumers, it may eventually affect the vehicles that arrive in dealership showrooms. So what do you think? Do you believe Europe will remain a major long-term customer for Canadian aluminum? Should North America invest more aggressively in expanding domestic aluminum production capacity? And could growing competition for low-carbon aluminum eventually impact the price of future cars, trucks, and SUVs? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to subscribe to Highway Herald and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest vehicle updates, automotive industry insights, and manufacturing news. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's more exciting and informative content waiting for you.